Starting at the bottom left of the map, we have the Protoss player for the StarTale team. It is
StarTale, Panic.
StarTale, Panic. He's going up against the Terran player now. One of the strongest players in the AZUBU lineup, starting to the bottom right of Frost. In blue we have
AZUBU Supernova.
And if you compare the statistics for the two players, there's a lot of things that you have to actually interpret. You can't just quote the numbers here. I'm going to do it regardless, just to give you a bit of an impression and then go a bit more into detail.
Before you do, I just want to mention we have a gas first, so everyone knows that.
Gas first here for Supernova, everybody right. If you look at Panic, we have him with 7 maps played, and he has 4 wins and 3 losses. That is a 57% win ratio. But the important thing about Panic's performance is that he made quite the impression in the GSTL when he won in the second season against Young, Hard, and Innovation of all people. He also won against Gumiho. His losses are against SC and twice against Ryang. So he really made a showing against Terran when he was able to snipe the 3 players that I mentioned first. That was in the matchup against Axiom Acer, of course. And this is kind of where people say, alright, if he's in a good mindset, if he can really focus, then he can take down anyone. If you're able to take down an Innovation, you can beat any player, any Terran player in the game. On the other hand, then we have Supernova, who has a lot more games played. I mean, this guy is currently looking at 37 maps against Protoss offline in Heart of the Swarm, and he has won 16 of them. Leaves him with a win ratio only at 43%, so below 50. But he has played against the best in the world. He has taken down players like Alicia, like Trap, Harding, Squirtle, Creator, of course, and a few others. And most of his losses are against very, very strong opponents. The funny thing is that the Supernova actually in the GSTL Season 1 playoffs lost also a map against Avenge. So we have him with a loss against the Protoss player on the StarTale lineup. And you can bet that Panic and Avenge were talking about this in particular and trying to find a strategy for Panic that he could use against Supernova here.
Well, let's talk about the strategy Supernova is using himself. He has shown in his recent Terran vs. Zerg that he likes to mech every now and then. He starts things off with Reactor Hellions, it looks like. He's doing a switch here. Could double Widowmine and walk it, but I highly doubt it. And with this Hellion pressure, he can actually do a lot of damage, try to run by and get into the main base. And the follow-up is the biggest question. Is he going to get Banshees out to follow this up? Is he going to try to go into a one-base timing attack like we've seen in Wings of Liberty? He only has 1 gas, so it's looking like he's actually just going to expand behind this pressure. And it could be very scary if you're a Protoss who's focused, oriented on pressure yourself. You're out on the map with your Mothership Core and your Stalkers, and suddenly Hellions run into your base.
We have the Widowmines now building, and this is Supernova just showing you a little bit like, yeah, it worked yesterday, I'm going to try that today too.
What is happening? The Stargate goes down for Panic. This is a day of Stargate for StarTale.
I mean, with the new Oracle speed, a lot of Protoss players go into that Stargate because they really want to have a bit of pressure on the map. But we have those Hellions moving in right now, and they are already in the base, so that's going to be a bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's just very annoying. 200 minerals for a lot of value if you can kill the probes. Nice split here on the Hellions.
Nice, and that's already worth it. Takes down 3, is able to snipe another one. That's already worth his money. A 5th, that is a trade more than worth for him because he lost, well, the Protoss lost a lot of mining time, and that's basically 200 minerals for 200.
Yeah, 200 for 200 plus the lost mining time.
But on the other hand, of course, with a fast attack, also the delayed expansion and therefore not the income that he really wanted to have here.
The question is, how much does the Oracle do, and why is he building an armory? These 2 questions will be answered very soon. The armory allows him to produce Hellbats, but it also could be for upgrades if he wants to be crazy and go mech.
Siege tank.
I think he might be crazy. Supernova's trying to make mech work on TV. I'm watching this, and I'm like, where is Artosis?
Probably glued to the monitor right now.
Supernova changed his ID to Artosis Friend. AZUBU Artosis Friend.
Dan will be like,
I've been saying it for 2 years. Finally, someone listens to me.
Well, the patch change does make it a lot easier, but there's no anti-air here whatsoever, and this Oracle actually can do so much. He dodges the Widowmine.
Yeah, needs to dodge the Marines too, and that's exactly what he does here. But yeah, this armory is actually very, very interesting that we see there.
And he scouts everything with this Oracle too, don't forget.
Yeah, that's of course also true. He gets the complete vision of the main base there. And another SCV. And he sees also the siege tank, and he's like, what?
SCV could have gone into the bunker. He was just like, not a coward. He's, nah, I'll never go in a bunker.
The SCV went man mode and then it died.
Yeah, that's really sad actually. But you know, as a Protoss, when you scout this, you got to be thinking, well, what's my next step here exactly? Like, I have a Stargate. I could add Void Rays to help out against some of the mech units. He adds a Twilight Council, which is the exact opposite of what I expected to see. It's going to help him get his additional armor upgrades out a little bit faster. Not exactly sure what else.
I mean, this is already looking quite sexy, to be honest. Supernova with 2 siege tanks here. Getting the Viking, that will help him out, of course, against the Oracle and finally put a stop to that.
Yeah, not before it gets a few more kills, though. Up to 7 now. So worth it. And gets away. Uses all of its energy to total efficiency here and gets away.
Still skirts around the edges of the range of the Widow Mine, and that helps him so much in 7 kills. I mean, what else do you want? He gets the faster expansion, and he gets the kills on the economy of his opponent.
Look at the worker count. It's right now 42 to 29. Of course, there are mules, so that helps even it up a little bit. But the position here, composition-wise, is definitely good for Supernova because nothing is going to break him, and he can easily take a 3rd base relatively soon with all the siege tank he has. It looks more and more likely he wants to hit a timing with +1, though, because he's not adding any more factories. He's still adding Marines. This is not really mech. This is just a mech timing.
Yeah, the 3rd siege tank is nearly completed, and we also have the Raven started. So, as you already said, he doesn't add any kind of additional production. We have him with, once again, this Oracle. Finally!
Oracle, though, Widow Mine should be able to get that.
Yeah, finally the Oracle being taken out here, but not before it gets an 8 kill. And there is the Storm upgrade. Well, else we have +1 attack, nearly completed, and Blue Flame.
Okay, the Blue Flame is indicative that we're going to see more factories and more units because he doesn't have any Hellions right now. And I'm not so sure about this. It looked like when I saw the Raven, okay, he's just going to move across the Raven, use the point defense drone. It's going to be really hard to hold. It's going to be about whether to get Storm up in time or not. But now I'm looking at this and I'm like, what is he thinking? Because he doesn't have any Hellions. Now he adds the factories. That scan sees all those gateways and he's probably thinking, yes, this is exactly what I want. I'm not going to move out. And I'm just going to sit here and defend because there's no way you're going to break me with that, even with Storm. I have so many siege tanks, and they're all well spread.
This is going to be a pretty cool game. I mean, Charge nearly completed, Storm on the way. Could see a 3rd base for Panic anytime. Supernova is not going to move out right now. And he's also just in a position where he has to get his worker count up, as we already said before. He's at 43 against 52. The mules, of course, help out. But this is going to be so cool. +2 attack been started, so Supernova is really going for it. With all those factories, we are going to see mech in this matchup. This is going to be cool.
He's finally stopped producing Marines. The Marines that he has are, as the game goes along, are going to be less and less useful with no upgrades. No stim even. So goes ahead and use that reactor that he built earlier. Going to do a double Widow Mine drop, which will easily be shut down by not only the cannon, but all the Templar he has out, all the feedbacks. Things are looking okay for Panic here, as long as he doesn't come crashing into that mech army head first. If he takes a 3rd base here, and continues to just control the 3rd base of Supernova as best as he can, I like his position a lot. Even an additional cannon here, just choices like these I really like. It also is going to help against a Hellion drop, you know, for example, anything.
He sees that medevac too.
Oh, he's going to block both 3rds. Goodbye,
nice.
probe.
That's a probe. And he cannot.
No. He's just making sure the 3rd base is coming down. If he attacks into this, I'll actually revoke his programmer license myself.
He's just going to go YOLO and runs for it. No, that would really be hitting the panic button. But you know, the longer that actually goes, the better the Supernova's position is going to be. And Panic reacting right now with a double. He's going to go into double immortal production here.
Yeah.
But going for double robotics now at first.
Those 2 Widow Mines, oh my god. I mean, the amount of value he's gotten out of them just from killing those 2 probes and blocking Nexus and, you know, the time he's gotten from it. Well worth it. And even with the cannon here, he's actually going to be able to do so much damage. And I can't believe Panic didn't pull away faster. He still gets it. He uses an overcharge.
Yeah, but so the overcharge is going to help, and we even see feedback going down here.
This position is getting better and better all the time for Supernova because of those 2 Widow Mines. Those 2 Widow Mines have changed the game. There's no detection.
91 army supply against 56 right now, and of course the tech for Panic is great, but so is the tech for Supernova. The +2 attack upgrade has already been done, finished, and we have that 3rd base for him nearly completed. So a great position for Supernova to be in, and he's continuing to drop with the medivacs that he has in the game while building up his army. And a 200 supply mech army is so strong. So I'm not quite sure how Panic can break this. He's trying to run in, and
This is a
oh my
terrible
god!
idea. I cannot believe he's doing this.
We're joking about the
actually,
YOLO
like,
move here, and he's doing it.
He's just gonna drop on top of those Templar and kill all 4 of them. By the way, all 4 of them will die. Every single one of them. Not even just 1, not just 2, but all 4 of them are gonna die.
This is brutal.
This is game, actually. He's got a 3rd command center ready to move down. He still has not dealt with either Widow Mine because he went for the YOLO move. And this is, quite frankly, pretty embarrassing. I mean, this is the kind of shocking match that happens the opposite way.
The +3 attack has now been started. The Medivac goes down to a feedback. The Photonova charge being used as the Hellbats get dropped into the natural. And at the same time, the rest of the army for Supernova is just moving across the map. The army supply 99 against 81 in favor of the Terran player. And there are no Immortals. There are 2 Immortals somewhere in the main base. But there's nothing. You might be able to cut the entire army off as well. Kills another High Templar already. Here comes the siege up, and good luck, Panic.
Well, you know, he's got a lot of Zealots to tank the damage, and the Immortals in the back are actually going to do well. And Supernova tried to push this one through. With the targeting, he could do a lot more damage here, but he has to walk back. And
Panic engaging into this army. I mean, he lost 50 army supply within about 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's just he doesn't quite have enough. He was close, and he did close the gap, but no.
Yeah, he did close the gap against a player who established now a 3rd, has +3 halfway completed, and even a 4th command center building.
Yeah, this comes back to remember the very beginning of this game when I saw him make the Twilight Council, and I looked at it and said, "Well, I don't know. I still don't know." The Storm against siege tanks.
Well, he wanted to have the +2 upgrades, I guess, and then he just continued from there. And you also want to have the charge upgrade, so.
Yeah, the charge upgrade is useful, but against the Hellbats later on...
I'm also not quite sure if he realized from the beginning that they was really up against mech. He saw the siege tank, but he might have just thought, alright, you're just going to get 1 because you want to defend against anything. Ah, there comes the
That's nice for him, getting that little feedback there. Probably Medivac wouldn't have done too much with all the cannons there anyways, but still a small victory for him. If he can hold on and remax again, if Supernova gives him that much time, then maybe he has a chance, but if he just goes and continues to pressure this 3rd base, I don't see any way. He has so many Immortals, but
that's
still.
The 4th too. He has the 4th base now. Up
oh god, do not do it. Do not go through this. Do not go through this. I mean, considering this gap is here, I can't even believe he took this base, first of all, rather than the one to the north. It's just, this game is going wrong for him in every possible way.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, 4 bases against 3. Entire army now on the move for Supernova. 120 army supply against 86. And he's getting all the upgrades. He can go into your armor upgrades right now. This is such a strong army. But we have a lot more Immortals now in the composition. So that's definitely something that has to be mentioned as well.
Hellbat's doing damage, yeah. And Medivac goes down for free. Little small victories here that we're seeing from Avenge. He needs a 4th base, but before he can take that comfortably, he has to really secure that Bridge of Doom to the south, make sure that the Terran army can't get on top of that.
We are gonna see so many Immortals.
Yeah, I mean...
That's 10 Immortals now already.
The question is, will they be able to close the gap before the siege tanks just kill them all? Because when you have this many siege tanks, the shields fade away in seconds, and if they're all stacked on top of each other, it just doesn't matter.
He's trying to move in. But
I would like to see, you know, some storm drops, maybe, like we saw when Bomber went mech way back in the day. Just
another job at that natural once
he's
again.
Doing so much here. So many probes go down to 41 probes at the 20-minute mark. What are you gonna do?
That's 30 workers killed now by Supernova.
And
these Hellbats with Blue Flame are really going to town here.
Okay, so at least he sends some Stalkers over here to try to do some counter harassment. And he's going to get some damage done. Scan goes down, he blinks away. That's well done. I like that. And he goes for a counterattack here while the mech army sieges up over there.
Nice. Takes out a couple of those. Oh my god, but the Widow Mine shots still go off against the Zealots, and most of them are already
He's going to get trapped.
Here comes the
He's
rest
going to
of
get
the
trapped with his
army.
Immortals. What is he doing? This is not the place to fight.
He's losing the game.
That is the correct answer, Kaldor. And we're going to watch disaster unfold here as Immortals are going to walk away like awkward crabs up to the top of the map. And I can't believe he even escaped with that many of them. Well, I may have spoken too soon because they're going to get cut off here by the Terran army repositioning itself.
Yeah, things are not looking good. 67 army supply against 123. He's basically doubling his opponent's army supply. He has the bank to even produce more, and he's just going to move in right now. All of the zealots are already gone. A few charge into death. That's all that they're doing here. And those immortals, they're saying goodbye as the siege tank just demolished the entire anti-mech component in the army composition that Panic has. This is going to be game for sure. Down to 23 army supply, 4 mortals in Archon, and a single mothership core. That's all that he has.
Oh! The probes get away. That could have been epic. What? He goes for the chase. Oh! Oh, I was just making that noise because I thought it was going to get really exciting. Now I feel really stupid. And now...
I'm sorry.
Don't be. It's Supernova's fault. But this game comes to a very anticlimactic end here.
And somewhere in the world, Atosis is fist pumping right now. GG! AZUBU Supernova pulls off a mech play against Protoss and takes down Panic and brings AZUBU in a 2-1 lead.
To be totally honest, I don't like how he handled this, and I think the most reasonable explanation is the exact one that you gave, that he didn't really realize that mech was what he was up against, and he had no way of scouting that except hallucinated Phoenixes or using his Oracle. He made a second Oracle to try to go scout, but I don't think he ever did. I don't know what happened to that Oracle. But he made all the wrong choices. I mean, his composition was wrong, and then he didn't have detection against the Widow Mines, which then denied his bases. And then after his bases were denied, he didn't even make Ribbles for so much longer after that. I mean, did you expect to beat a Terran player on 3 bases with mech with 2? And the decision to attack was in total desperation. And
when you attacked into that choke point with a wall and the siege tanks behind it, I'm like just looking at the screen and I see like 10 zealots instantly just disappear, and that was insane. So.
I think the real issue here is just simply that Panic is not practicing against this composition.
Yeah,
nobody in his team is using it. Yeah, and nobody's using mech right now on televised matches really except Supernova. He's the one who's making it work. He's doing it against Zerg, so he lost, but he looked good with it. And he's doing it against Protoss even now. I mean, at least he transitioned into it. There was a bit of time where he had a ton of Marines. Storm against mech is only good if you have like Warp Prisms flying around, you're like a fancy maniac. Because if you don't have... I mean, if you're trying to use your Templar to go into a mech composition, Hellbats are going to tank the Storms, and then they're just going to kill your Templar. You're not going to kill siege tanks with Storms, you're going to shoot your Templar down.
Was also the harass that we saw out of Supernova. He had always constantly Medivacs active on the map that were dropping into the mineral lines of the Protoss player. Yeah. And that really hurt his opponent. Panic was losing so many Harvesters. He lost 33 probes over the duration of the game, and that's not the only thing. He also had to just focus his attention always on the expansion, on the third base, on the main base, and that gave Supernova the time that he needed to establish the third, the fourth, get his upgrades up. So just great play by the Terran player.
Supernova just way outclassing him, showing him why he's the better player, the player with a better win rate, and this is one of those problem matches we talked about where it looks like when you look at the lineup of the players, Panic versus Supernova, you're like, well, Supernova is very likely to take this, and he does.
I mean, this is the game where you really say, as the AZUBU coach, okay, this is one of the games that we're going to win. So they are in the lead right now. That's exactly where they want to be. And now it's definitely up to the next few players to make sure that they're going to win their match for Team StarTale if they want to be able to do something today. I think we have the Terran versus Terran coming up next. And yes, there he is.
We do, in fact. And
Hack versus Senna. And that's one of the games that, in my opinion, StarTale has to win if they want to make it today. And Hack was very confident earlier. He was saying, well, I can do this. I'm definitely going to win it.
He absolutely can do this.
And I think he has to. I think if he loses, then StarTale is in such a bad spot that he will most likely lose this match today and be out.
He has lost 4 out of 5 of his most recent GSTL matches, but put that aside because the players he played against were really, really strong and tough matchups for him. So, yes, that is a relevant stat, but don't look at that and say, well, he's got no chance. If you look at his opponent, Center is somebody we very rarely saw this season. I think we only saw him in the second round, and then, of course, now in the playoffs. But he's a player who was really good on TSL. A lot of people thought he was going to disband after TSL did, and he did not. He went to AZUBU, and you know, this guy, I think a lot of people favor him But I think that it's really, this match may be just as close as Light versus Symbol. Hard to call.
This is definitely going to be a good one. But before we jump into the next game, we are having another 5-minute break, and then we'll be back with the Terran versus Terran here in our second match in the best of 3 between AZUBU and StarTale. So guys, stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few.